Sharing what?
The cab and the new program. It would be actually to coaches from that standpoint. You know what I'm saying? So as far as adding new clients, the clients, they're not getting anything additional out of that. It's really for the coaches.
No, I was just wondering if you're going to have any verbiage on your Facebook group. I mean, your page, offering an incentive for new clients or anything like that.
Well, that's going to be, Beth, a personal decision. The company is going to pay you
Right.
$50 per additional per client that meets those guidelines that we acquire during the time period. Whether or not an individual coach chooses to share that incentive, and you'll only get that incentive if you have 5. Right. So some people, like with the Dash, chose that they wanted to just go ahead and take a chance and be offering like $25 off or something for new clients. You can market that if you want. I think I do it sometimes, but I've most often found it is most effective in individual conversations with people.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just saw on another coach's page, not in our group at all, that she was offering scholarships. So I was just wondering I know it's up to the individual, but I was just wondering, just curious.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't put a lot of thought to my individual, like how we may promote that right now. The one thing I will say, and we can talk about this a little bit, is that we are taking our March 28th event, which was on, planned for Saturday in Atlanta, and we're just bringing that online as a very high level trilogy opportunity. So it is an opportunity for you to invite people and then follow up with them about coaching and the program. And then maybe in those individual conversations, you could also offer, especially on the coaching, be able to offer those incentives. Imagine if a new coach comes in, double cab for 5 clients, double cab, $200, $250 for those 5 clients. So they've now earned $750 plus the normal commission on their thing. So the reason they're doing that is so somebody could come in and start making income quickly in our business. It's an incredible opportunity.
Yeah, they'll cover their expenses of the coach kit right away. And then before you know it, they'll be taking the certification exam and their out-of-pocket expense will be literally nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
I've been talking to a lot of my nurse friends from years, from my many years ago. And, believe it or not, we think about nurses, being in the front lines and stuff, but a lot of my friends, we were kind of in our retirement jobs. We were in post-op or surgical services. Well, and what I found was a lot of those girls are not working right now because they're non-essential. So I did have a chance to, just to kind of touch with one of them about a coaching opportunity, and I'm gonna follow up with her. But it's just overwhelming sometimes how many people are without income. And I have to say it was a really nice little thing to do my OptaVia Pay and deposit that little deposit my check. So just as an offering,
Yeah, that's a great point. And on Saturday, we're going to have Dr. Michael Smith, who is, he's spoken at our Atlanta events before. He's the medical director for WebMD. He's also a Fox News correspondent in New York City. He's also going to speak about the importance of habits of health and also why he personally chose to become a health coach. We're also going to have Lauren Humans. I don't think Lauren is on, but Lauren is also going to, I see her phone. Lauren is going to share how she was able to move from a medical environment and actually be able to now be a full-time health coach at home and not have to be on the front lines or expose her family to the risk.
Yep. But Debbie, you bring up a good point. And there are people out there right now that are furloughed, people that don't have work. And again, with the incentives that the company's bringing out, again, it really costs nothing to get those 5 clients, so they order their kit, they get 5 clients, they get their cab, net they're fine, and they can build on there from that standpoint. And you guys know as well as anything, right? We can get a coach up and running in no time. And again, partner with those coaches, to bring clients to the phone. I had a conversation earlier, Val, I hope you don't mind, but we had a conversation earlier that she's got a brand new coach out there, and I'm like, just load up phone calls, and we'll do three-way calls between the client, Val, and the new coach. And that's a great way to get things started. And of course, I'm available as well, to try to help and bring clients in the door for you. So, so again, whenever, right now it's a great opportunity. Other thoughts and questions?
Yes, I have one.
Yeah.
With all the people that are, in fact, out of work, and you reach out to them and they're like, look, I don't know how I'm going to pay my power bill. How are you approaching that we know, but how are you approaching that in that it's worth spending the money to start coaching?
You take it?
Yeah, that's a tough one in terms of the only thing we can share is about what they could potentially earn. I think that would be good, and say, hey, I know things are tough. It would be up to an individual coach again if they wanted to offer any kind of incentive on the health coach kit, knowing that if you can help them get that cab, that you'll get $100. Of course, all of this, you're investing in your business, right? You're taking a chance, right? You could potentially offer an incentive. If they don't get the 5 clients, then it didn't happen. But you might have a new client on board. A new coach on board to be able to help them. So it's a fine line, but I think what we just want to do is help offer perspective and help offer options the best.
Yeah, and I would also say one thing about being your own business person, right? You actually kind of control your own destiny. That's another thing that I like to share, right? So where companies might say, hey, thanks for stopping by, or you're furloughed, or you don't have a job anymore. At least we have something that we can continue to build on. We have it's our business, and it's in our control from that standpoint. So where a lot of times, and I used to say this a lot when I was in the corporate world too, always have a plan B, right? Because you never know what can happen. And this is one of those, you never know what can happen moments, right? And so I was all about, making sure, trying to create a plan B as far as a revenue source coming in,
Okay, I got a second part.
Yep.
Now, as far as acquisitioning the new clients, same question. 90% of the people, my husband just closed down his restaurant. So we have, virtually no income other than mine coming in. So when all these people are in that boat, of course we know their health is a high priority, but how do we word that with the empathy that we were talking about on the call last night, and still encourage them to come on?
Yeah, that's, the story's the same, the wording's a little different, okay? So the story's the same, that the fact that, we know it's neutral. You're going to spend money on food, it's cost neutral. In fact, a lot of people that would spend money outside, going to restaurants, Starbucks, all that kind of stuff, it's cost neutral. I think you approach just a slightly softer, from that standpoint. Sorry to hear that. That's unfortunate and everything. The good news is that especially in this environment, we've got options. And that option is, once you go on program, you're doing several things. One, the cost is cost neutral, right? Secondly, you don't have to go out and get your food, especially right now. It's being shipped to you, In fact, I had a truck driver, one of my clients who's a truck driver. He told me he's going to place his regular order and he's going to order the flavors of home, because he can pop them. He's got a little microwave in his cab in his truck, and he's crazy right now. He's driving a lot, as you can imagine, trying to restore. He's a critical functioning employee out there in this society, so he's busy, and so he's also buying the flavors of home, the lean and greens. So again, there's ways to present that to him that it's cost neutral. You can take care of yourself in a way that right now we all have to take care of ourselves to make sure we're not at risk. So so it's just a little just softer in the way you're offering it versus what they called last night opportunistic. And I'm guilty of that. Because I always look for the opportunity. I'm like, oh, this is a great opportunity. But it's just a little softer in the way we go about it. And kind of, did you know kind of thing. Did you know that the neat thing about it is it can be delivered to your house? You don't have to go out, especially if you have fears about going out right now. Did you know that it's cost neutral? If you were spending money, it's cost neutral, that kind of stuff. And just that approach will be, I think will help.
The only thing I would like to add about that, because I think that's a really, really valuable point. There are going to be some people that right now, like they just don't have the income, right? We know statistics of a lot of people don't have money in savings, et cetera. There are going to be some people in that, whatever. Larry and I are very conservative financially, so we get all of this and people watching their expenses. But one thing that will really drive you guys, all of this in your business going forward, is your mindset around this.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we, like in 2008, we were not with the company yet, but we have been told numerous times that in 2008 with the recession, Optavia grew during that time period. It continued to grow, which showed that there were still people out there that still chose to invest in their health. So not everyone will, right? We're going to have those cases, but I think that that's no different than it was before, right? We all before had people. But I think that if we go into it thinking, I can't go out there, like there's just nobody who has money right now, like that will show up in your business that no one will say yes. If we think about it like, okay, you know what? Some people can't, but some people will. So I'm just out there looking for who will, and planting my seeds and being the power of positive, like being, very positive on social media so that when they can and will, they will.
Yeah, it's a little different than 2008 from the standpoint that we're dealing with a virus, which, it's fortunate, unfortunate, right? But I think that helps us a bit in this situation. So again, fortunate, unfortunate.
We've actually had a few coaches that are growing right now. They've had more clients reactivate than before. They've had more people sign up to be coaches right now. So again, how our presence out there, how our mindset and our actions are going to really drive what your business looks like right now and what it's going to look like 2 months from now. Because we always know that there's a ripple effect of what you're doing now and what it looks like in the future. We can either be really, really active and planting seeds and all that and see it down the road, or we can retract. And there's usually a lag on that, but then you'll also see that show in your business as well. So it's a fine line. It's kind of like what I said last night, is not to change our goal. This is the way I am looking at it. Not to change our goals, which I think Julie Apple really phrased well, is that our mission has always been to be out there to serve people that are looking for help. So we want to be out there. We just are having to do it a little differently, and we may have to work harder right now to find those people.
One last thing too, and you know me, numbers man. All right. So in watching the numbers this month, it's kind of interesting. So in the beginning of the month, I always run, and you may run this too. You may run to see what your premier orders are going to be, to try to figure out, okay, where you may fall out as far as your income for the month. And so we do that as well. We run it and we say, how's the organization? How did things look? This month, the beginning of March, looked spectacular. I mean, like spectacular for a lot of the coaches, the overall team, the numbers look spectacular. Now, we always know in the beginning of the month, there is people push orders, stuff like that. So there's always a little bit of pullback, but the numbers still looked really good. Going into last week, the numbers still looked really good. Okay. Now this past week, we saw some orders get pushed. Okay. All that being said, it looks like a good month. Right now, we're a week out, and it still looks like a good month. So, one of the things I would focus in on, and I've shared this with a couple of the coaches, again, work with your clients, touch them frequently. Okay, so I've touched base with clients several times. Okay, not just their weekly. I've touched base with them several times, whether it's a text 2 days after I spoke with them, say, hey, just thinking about what we talked about the other day, how you doing today, that kind of stuff. So touch base frequently. All right. Help them to stay on track, because that's something they can control in an uncontrollable environment. All right. So that's really important. Secondly, if we're having a good month, okay, overall, all right, I believe, okay, especially with what I'm seeing, because I always watch the markets, right? I think we're going to pop out of this sooner rather than later. And what I mean by that is, right, so the government's going to pop in stimulus, all right? The markets are going to start to accelerate. People are going to start feeling a little bit better, right? Because they're going to start seeing numbers in their own personal finances moving. And I think, and I pray that we're going to come out of this quicker than we think as far as this quarantine. And if we do, okay, we want to be prepared for that jump. We want to keep the basic, what I call our basic normal blocking and tackling and serving intact. We don't want to stall at all, okay, because that's going to hurt us. As we know, if we stall now, it has a ripple effect down the road. So we want to stay in action. So again, I say all that just to encourage you to keep doing what you always do, right? Posting, being encouraging, having your client contact, maybe just a little bit more client contact. And again, where there's opportunities where people said in the past, not now, what a great opportunity to talk to people, because we know they may have a little bit of time. You know, busy moms that don't have soccer practices or practices to take their kids to, you know, parents that have a little bit more time because they're not traveling, right? They're at home, that kind of stuff. So remember those things through this time, because the numbers do not look bad. They, you know, I want you to know from our perspective that, you know, again, some of you may have, you know, not as good as last month. I mean, that's an average, right? But the bottom line is the numbers don't look bad. It looks like a good month overall. So please remember that. Other thoughts? We're talking a lot, sorry.
Larry mentioned about orders being postponed, and I heard something really interesting the other day on a leadership call. You know, I think that our habits of thinking and the way we think, like we can get way ahead of ourselves in our head. And kind of what I was mentioning before in terms of, oh my God, nobody can afford this. You know, we could make up all kinds of stories in our head. But the one example that was given to me was, you know, there could be a coach, and this might be you, that you've got 15 clients and, you know, 2 cancel or postpone their orders. And what immediately can go through our heads? Oh my God, everybody's going to cancel, right? Everybody, we've got 15 clients, 2 canceled, and now we can play it in our head that all of them are going to go down this road, right? It can make us fearful to talk to our clients, you know, that, oh, I don't want to rock the boat. Maybe the order will just go through, which we know is not who we are as Optavians, right? That's not how we operate, because we really want to come alongside people. So I think more than ever, kind of like what we were saying last night, is, you know, call those other 12 clients. Just call them and just be there for them and listen to them and just figure out where they are. You know, I think that some of the things they said on the call that was so good that I wrote down was, you know, peace comes from purpose. Action, you know, helps you the most. Listen more, talk less. There were a lot of different things. And what we think on grows. So if we get into a fearful mindset, our pastor said really well on Sunday, he said, fear stimulates nothing but self-preservation. You know, we start, you know, and you think about what people were doing last week and hoarding things and whatever, everybody's going into self-protection mode. And we want to be in the opposite, that we're not worried about us, but we are worried about other people and what's going on with them.
So Meg in the chat, she mentioned about the incentive program as far as the dates. Oh,
Yeah.
I see Carol. She's responding there. Hold on. Thank you, Carol. Thanks for posting that as far as the dates. So Meg, it's out there for you.
Thank you, Dee. She answered for me earlier.
Oh, good. There you
Yeah,
go.
they were supposed to send an email about it last night. So my apologies on that. I'll copy and paste what I have that they sent to leaders and post it in our group for us so that you guys have it.
Yeah, it's a little odd. When they mentioned it last night, I was like, it was odd. And I haven't figured out why it is the way it is. But, you know, again, CAB, March 9th to the 19th of April, and then client bonus the 23rd through the 19th. So I haven't figured out the logic there. And if I do, I'll let you know. But I don't understand the purpose of the dates. But anyway, we'll just go with it, right?
Yeah.
So other
Yeah.
thoughts and questions? This is good stuff.
Hey, can I jump in here?
Please do.
Go for it, Frank.
Yeah. So I mean, I totally agree with everything that you're both, Larry and Dee are saying, and Sean and I are like, like probably everybody else with coaches. We're having those same conversations with clients and coaches about job loss and job layoff, and can't afford the products. And last night, the field-led training, boy, that was some powerful stuff. So I wish I'd taken notes, but it's up here. And unfortunately, up here is not so good. But one thing JC said, I think it was JC, he said that, when a client says I can't, or a potential client says I can't, he responds back to them with, well, I understand that you can't, but what can you do? If you have a potential client that can't reorder right now, well, maybe they can just be active on the community page. Maybe they can just drink all their water. Maybe they can do little things. Maybe they can order enough for 2 weeks, not a whole month. At least that'll get them to the next paycheck. So remember that verbiage. I think that was great last night. And then Tiffany Howard last night, I think it was Tiffany, she said, sometimes we need to change our conversations in times like this when we're doing our check-in calls. Sometimes rather than saying, how much weight have you lost, or how are you doing on program, just call them and say, how's the family? How are the kids? What are we talking about tonight? Because people are in a little bit different world right now. And, we got to remember, myself included, prior to coming on this program, I was an emotional eater. So in times of high stress like this and high emotions and uncertainty, I turned to food back then. And, I'm not perfect now. I'm still kind of wanting to turn to food. So we have to remember that people are turning to food. Our clients are turning to food. And we don't need to come in there and, be hitting them over the head with a baseball bat, because that's all they know in many cases. Those are lifelong habits they've developed. And in times of high stress like this, we need to be there to love on people. And if, like Dee and Larry said, if you just keep doing what you're doing, maybe not as strong as what you were doing in the past. I mean, I was making a lot of posts and always consistent, and I'm still making posts, but I just toned it down just a little bit, and the volume down a little bit, and the frequency down just a little bit, but I'm still making them. Sean and I are still making them. Why? Because like Dee just said, we're planting a lot of seeds right now. People are still watching. They're still concerned. And I agree with Larry. This is going to end quicker than we think. If you look at the stock market, an hour ago it was up 1,400 or something like that. The U.S. deaths in America in the last 24 hours was around 14 for the entire United States. That number is way down. The stock market is way up. So this is going to end sooner than we think. So plant those seeds come April, May, June. If you're doing the work now, you're going to have an explosion in your business, both in clients and coaches, because how you treated those clients and coaches now, with love, with your heart, with empathy, and, not coming in there with a baseball bat.
And I did just that this morning with a client who texted me and said, I need to cancel my order because I've got too many, all her kids are out of a job and she's having to pick up now for all of them. So I did that, JC. Well, let's talk about what you can do. Can you kind of hop on the coaches, on the client page, at least every couple of days for some love and encouragement, and, can you make sure you stay hydrated so you're healthy? And she's in the medical field. She's a nurse practitioner, and she's just, going up 1,000 miles a minute right now. And when she messaged me back, she was so appreciative that I had pointed out, okay, let's work on maybe some other things. And that I didn't say, oh, but what's going to happen if you cancel your order, So I feel like she's going to come back, but I just think we need to love them for where they're at right now.
And and finally, and I won't take up all this time here, but finally, as coaches, we need to do everything that we can do as coaches. Staying positive, staying above the line, showing up here for these team calls, showing up for events, and just setting the example for our other coaches and for our team and for people that are watching. Not that we're perfect. Sean and I are not perfect at all. We've had a lot of bumps in the road the last couple of weeks. We're so thankful and blessed to be part of this team, and that we have our health, and we have our way, and we have income through this opportunity. But if we could just show up and do what we need to do, I think people are still watching, and everybody's going to be okay. Thanks for letting me share my little bit.
That's great. Thank you guys. Very, very helpful.
Yeah, guys, very, very good. I mean, again, nothing to add. So awesome stuff. Shauna, you did give me something to think about though, right? So you have the nurse practitioner that's really busy, and then you may have somebody that's not as busy because of their occupation right now. It's really a tale of two cities, And so we have to recognize that. I mean, really be perceptive. I mean, so I'm glad you mentioned that, because I thought right away. And then there's other people that aren't that busy. So we really have to know who our audience is right now. And your post, again, you put that really funny post out there today. Putting in humor at this time is so important. I mean, I can't. Some of the funniest memes I've seen out there and posts out there, it's really funny. I think this is going to be known for something in social media as far as the funniest memes in the world. But yeah, that kind of stuff, again, people are going to remember us, by the way we show up and the way we share right now. So excellent points. Thank you so much for sharing.
And I think real quick, I want to open it up again. I think more than ever, check yourself and how you've been thinking about what you're offering. Because what I'm doing is I'm trying to do more lives, more things in my Instagram feed, et cetera, in terms of video. And I'm talking about the fact that, now more than ever, what we have coached for 9 years about physical health and healthy mind is so important. And how much are we offering? Emotional mismanagement, as Dr. A says, is the number one, killer out there for people, and on so many levels. So we've always done this, right? And so work with your clients. I love what you said. What can you do? I had a client yesterday. I was just helping her strategize to stretch out her fuel lanes, and she's going to work on element 4 and element 23. And so because her typical mindset is to just abandon, all or nothing. And so we're going to work through that. And so the best we can do that, and I think the more that we can be out there showing, hey, we are much more than a weight loss company, way more.
Lifestyle. Other thoughts and questions?
Can I hop on? I've got a bunch of people here that I can reach out to. I've got something that I'm a little bit unsure how to handle. And so a friend of mine that I've known for a long time reached out to me in late last year, and then decided she couldn't do it because she just couldn't afford it. And she reached out to me again last night. She's deaf. She had a heart attack in December of last year. She's very worried about her weight gain, about her health. She has a wedding coming up in the summer. She really would like to, look nice in a dress. And she's very mortified right now when she sees pictures of herself. She's like, I put on this extra weight. I don't like it. I don't like me. I'm scared. And I need to do something about this. And so I kind of was trying to ask questions, everything was typed because she can't hear. And I wanted to connect with you guys or with Dee or with Larry, just to I double check my resources. I think she would make a great coach. And I think that now might be the best time for her to do that. But I also think that she thinks she can't afford to do the program because she's terrified of where their income is right now. I know there's the Life Without Limits Facebook group. I've not found a way that I can send her videos from there. And I don't remember the person who started it. So I need some advice. Do any of you guys have any hearing impaired or deaf clients? No?
No. Do you know Life Without Limits?
Yeah, that was Jan Paxman who started that. And I'm wondering if you can add this individual to that group to be able to see the videos. 227 people are in the group.
Only. Yeah,
What's
she said
that?
it was for clients only.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not sure, Debbie. You want to take in terms of how to help her?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing, I mean, we could reach out to that, who's it, Jan?
Mhm.
You could reach out to Jan and say, you know, would you make an exception? I have a client, a potential client right now I'm working with who's deaf. And again, I see that you have this, you know, information out there with signing and stuff like that. Would you consider adding her to the group? Again, to help inspire her, you know, from that standpoint. It doesn't hurt to ask anything, right? All they can say is no. So that would be one way. And then, you know, as far as, you know, her concern about becoming the coach, as we shared earlier, right now is a fantastic time if she's thinking of coaching and going on program. So, you know, so again, positioning that, you know, again, and letting them know what we have available at this time, I think, you know, good opportunity, you know, from that standpoint. Right. Anything else, Ted? Okay. Other questions? Good one, Debbie. We can talk later more on that too.
I am preparing a coach document, and we'll be doing a Zoom training for Saturday's March 28th event, the webinar. Basically just sharing for you guys what it is, why you'd want to be a part of it, who to invite, and then how to actively be a part of it while it's going on. We are entering a new world, so pray for me that technology goes well. But we are entering a new world, but what we really want to be able to do is live stream this into our Facebook group, into the event page, the virtual health event page. And then you guys will have the opportunity that you guys can then share that live out onto your pages, and we'll have some instructions on that, how to do that, as well as do watch parties, which are great. So it's a way for you to hit a broader audience with this than who might actually come to the event. We are doing registration for the event, because what that does is that also tells us who actually joined in and watched it. And so we'll be able to help you guys with follow-up on that as well. And the whole thing is being run by Susan, Meg, myself coordinating it. Again, we have Dr. Michael Smith speaking. Sean and Frank are going to share their story. Lauren is going to share her story. Nicole DeWard is going to wrap us up with inspiration. Meg, I don't know if you are in a position that you wanted to come on. Maybe if you wanted to just come on for a second, anything you wanted to share. Meg Johnson, there you are.
Oh, we can't.
I'm here. We're just surviving over at our house today. So I don't really look, you know, we're just living the dream over here in our quarantine. But yeah, no, Saturday is going to be incredible. I mean, such a great opportunity for clients, coaches, potential clients, potential coaches, basically all of us to be. And the great thing about Saturday is you can be talking about this as something like these are your friends that are going to be leading it, which is exciting. You could also, I mean, that's the great thing. It doesn't matter what time zone anybody's in. They can be a part of this and jump in there with us. So really excited. All the planning that we've been doing, I think it's going to be really great.
Yep. And, you know, again, like Dee mentioned, the key thing is really to kind of get that cascade effect through the watch party and putting it out through your Facebook page. So once you do that, again, it just kind of ripples out as far as the people having it available to them. So that's going to be key as far as getting the information out and, you know, again, having an impact. So
yeah, so that'll be when you share it to your page. That's a big broad blast, right? That's just a broad blast out. You're trying to, maybe somebody might click on it or whatever. There are going to be people for you to strategically invite. So,
right.
For example, Beth, you know, you mentioned somebody who couldn't afford their fuel lanes that you wanted to share coaching with. Well, we'll talk about coaching on this. So specific invite. Debbie, it's a hearing impaired, so maybe that's not the best example, but anybody you've talked to about the program or you know, the business opportunity, a really, really good opportunity. And then we're going to look for your input on this as well. In the actual webinar, we'll ask questions like, hey, share with us where you're from, how much weight have you, lost on the program, what are your non-scale victories? And we want you guys, you don't have to say I'm a coach, but you just want to say like, Beth from Georgia, down 24 pounds, unlimited energy. I'm so glad I did this 3 years ago, whatever. We want your feedback to help it drive that energy during the event so that people will see that and feel that and be like, wow, this is like the real deal.
Dee, is the screen going to be like this for that event, or will it be whoever's talking is going to take up the whole screen? And I'm asking first.
Yeah, so no, with a webinar, the webinar view is speaker view, and the only people who are going to actually even have access to camera are the people that we have invited as panelists. So like you guys, etc. Everybody else will just be viewing it, and they'll either be just them talking on the screen, or if we have a slide, the slide will be on the screen and the individual speaking will be in the corner like you see on Dr. A's calls.
Okay. I was asking because I have a client who her job is to do sign language. She's a sign language interpreter, and she lives in Utah. And I thought if Debbie's client was for sure going to be there, I could ask if my client is available to possibly sign everything. But I don't even know that she's available because she works a lot.
Yeah.
She does.
Yeah.
But right now I don't know what she's doing, but okay. I was just curious.
I love that idea. I don't know, honestly, that I'm personally ready for all that to try to keep like a panelist open the whole time.
Oh yeah. No,
but
that's
I'm
fine.
just feeling, try not
I was
to
thinking if
embarrass
it was
myself
like
in whole thing.
this. Yeah, I was thinking if it was like this, she could be signing and that person could only be focusing on her. But
I love that idea. Love
okay.
it.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, prayers are appreciated for technology on Saturday. So
And the goal is once we do this, we actually want to do them more often for our team and have you guys share stories and stuff like that, like do them more informally, etc. So, but we're just, right now we're just kind of diving into some unknown territory. So.
Yeah, and that is the cool thing, right? So we've done local events and we've gone around, and met with other teams around the country, and those are good too, having those local events. But this is kind of nice because where we have smaller teams around the country, they can be a part of this as well, So so it may still be a combination of both, right? We may still do local events and also national events online. So it'll be kind of neat to test drive. So we're test driving.
And it's a great example of, I've heard like when you go through challenging times, you have to just pivot, right? You pivot, just like we were talking about before, you pivot, you do things differently. So we're pivoting, and we're figuring it out. And Helen Irwin, who I know a lot of you guys have heard her speak, she's been a mentor to Dr. A. She's also developed our leadership program for Optavia. Just keep this in mind for yourself, because she said the person who wins is the one with the greatest flexibility. So right now, in anything in your life, right? Whether you're navigating your relationship, whether you're navigating trying to homeschool with your kids, if you're trying to navigate your business, whatever it is you're navigating, the more flexibility we have and the more open mind we have and staying above the line, you know what I mean? The more we're all going to come out winners.
Like this guy. So you can bend them all over the place. It's like Gumby, So.
What was that guy? Flipman? Something.
Yeah, Flipman.
That was a book we read.
For those of you that know who Gumby is. Sorry, I date myself.
So we got about 7 more minutes. A few other people have hopped on. What kind of questions do you have or comments? Hey, Jamie's daughter, whoever popped in there. Are you guys liking this time together? Is it helpful to be able to come together as a group? Yeah, we thought it was really important. So we'll probably open up again later in the week.
I have a question,
Hey, Zena.
Abby. For the Miami event that was canceled, how is that working? I did see that Frank had said, well, they're on for another event and whatever, but can you explain exactly what we need to do?
Yeah, so if you were registered for the, go ahead, was that the last question?
I didn't get the email, so I wasn't sure exactly.
Oh, okay. I will forward you what I have. It might check maybe your spam or your bulk folder. Okay, because it came from Terry Miller through Eventbrite. So she had to send it to like people that had registered through Eventbrite. But my understanding with it is that that event will still take place. What's the name of it, you guys? Business Momentum 2020.
Yes.
It will still take place. It will be an online event that is at a value of $49 per person. And so any coach, even if they weren't registered from Miami, will be able to participate at $49 per person. You can also participate if you were already registered for Miami and plan to attend. You can participate, but you have $100 left, right? Because I think the cost was like $149 for it. So you have $100 credit now. And in that email, basically what they had said was that you have the option with that credit to transfer it to the November Business Summit, which I want to go back to that in a second, to the November, which they plan to do in the fall.
In Phoenix.
In Phoenix, and apply it towards that. Or you can ask for a refund of that $100. If you do not want to participate in the online version of what they're going to do on April 17th and 18th, then you can ask for a full refund. But at that point, you would not be able to participate in the event.
They also said you could use that refund to offer scholarship to other coaches.
That's right.
There were
Good
3
point, Carol.
options that you could use.
Or even donate it. You could even donate it, the balance. So Zena, if you had 2 coaches on your team that you wanted to attend, since it's $49 each, you could use that $100 excess to allow for 2 coaches on your team to go if you felt inspired to do that. Or Optavia is developing their own field training resources. And so there's a fund for that if you wanted to donate it.
Great, thank you. My question was answered.
So they did give us a save the date for November in Phoenix. If you guys know, some of us qualified for the ILAT trip in the Bahamas, and that was at first we were told was canceled because it was in April. They came back to us and were able to postpone that, but the dates that were available overlapped the scheduled Phoenix dates. So what they had said was, because so many people will be at the ILAT that would be presenters at the Phoenix event, that it is likely that the specific dates of the Phoenix event will be changed. And they'll get more info to us in the fall. They're just riding out what's happening right now.
So real quick, do we happen to know if the Business Momentum at Home will be recorded?
I have not received information on that.
Okay.
I was thinking I saw somewhere they said no, but I may be wrong on that. So I thought somebody asked that, because it's a matter of you pay to go or you don't get to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I've paid to go, and I gave my $100 to 2 of my coaches, but I don't know if I can actually personally watch it now because I've got something coming up. So I was just curious.
Got about 4 minutes. We appreciate you guys coming out today.
Hey, I asked on there about the on the event on the 3/28. You know, isn't it if we share on our page and stuff like, won't it then be a recording that we can share later?
Yes. So we'll record the webinar so that could be like on a Zoom format that you can email to somebody if needed.
Yeah.
And then if you share, if like this is all, Lord, like that everything goes right. But once that something is streamed as a Facebook Live, like into the Facebook event and potentially into your Facebook page, yes, it does remain there and then can be clicked on at any point too.
Perfect, because that's another great option, you know, besides the live, but then to also have that available to share at other times. So
yeah, well, we plan to do both. And I mean, like, seriously, y'all pray. The one thing with Zoom, I love Zoom technology, but using the webinar format is different. And because of the volume of Zoom, Zoom is on overload right now. I mean, they're helping out schools, they're helping out businesses, churches, everybody's using Zoom. So there is no access to a physical person to talk to. So everything I'm trying to figure out on my own through, YouTube videos and whatnot. So y'all pray.
Should have bought
Big
Zoom
time.
stock last week, but anyway.
Yeah.
You ought to go ask, what's his name, Bush. He does
I
so
have.
many of them.
David's been a
I was
great-
going to say,
Dave's
yeah.
been a great resource. For me.
Yeah.
Yeah. He keeps patting me on the back. You got this, Dave. You got this. Yeah.
Yeah, and pray for me. Thank you.
All right, you guys, we will wrap this up unless anybody wants to say anything. We can unmute you guys, and if you guys want to say goodbye, and yeah, we'll catch everybody later in the week. All right, we'll see ya. Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night or goodbye.
Good night.